This is the Hustle Decoded.
Hustle Decoded.
Go. Hustle Decoded. Go. This is the Hustle Decoded. Hustle Decoded.
Hustle Decoded.
Hustle Decoded. This is the Hustle Decoded.
Hustle Decoded.
We live, people.
Go.
Welcome to the Hustle Decoded. Hope you had a great week. This is the channel that focuses on entrepreneurship
Hustle
from the
Decoded.
ground up. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so. Engage in the chat.
Go. This is the Hustle Decoded.
Lots to get into. Lots to get into.
Hustle Decoded.
Lots to get into this evening. Again, welcome everybody to the Hustle Decoded, where we focus on entrepreneurship from the ground up. And we are live. Let's go. Couple of announcements before we get into it. Join our live streams on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, as you can see on the title screen. Also, this Saturday, we're going to start the Mindset Series. It is an online course that I have created, and I'm going to be teaching it live. So do us a favor and come on in. It's called the Saturday Hustle. We're looking forward to seeing you. Also, if you haven't had time, go ahead and join the Hustle Decoded Facebook page, where current and future entrepreneurs have an opportunity to connect and be able to network and take their businesses to the next level. What's going on, everybody? Hope you had a good week. If this is your first time here, my name is Kelvin. I am the founder and CEO of the Hustle Decoded, where we focus on entrepreneurship from the ground up. And here on this channel, we talk about the fundamental life skills that you're going to need in order to make it to the next level. Usually what we do on the live streams is I talk about economic topics of the day. I go into a commentary. I talk and engage with the chat, and we just kind of go from there. So without further ado, let's get into it. Going to be a few topics that's going to go on today because there's a lot that's been going on in the economy. So, um, I'm just going to rattle off all of the uh, all of the articles, if you will. All right. So obviously you can see this one here. Millions can't access unemployment benefits, so the actual job losses are likely greater than the data shows. So as of right now, it shows that we are at 32 million unemployed as it stands right now, and obviously the data is showing that there's more. We'll get into the next one. Disney's reporting a 58% drop in operating income because their parks are closed. We'll get into that a little bit deeper because there's other things that Disney operates that I don't think that many people are very aware of. You kind of see it here. I'll show you. It's right here, ESPN. Just as kind of a side note, ESPN, obviously Disney owns the ESPN, and ESPN gets its revenue through the rights of live sports. Well, there's no live sports going on at the moment. So where is ESPN getting its money, and where's Disney getting its money, especially when the Disney parks are not open? So yeah, it's rough. We'll get into some of the controversial stuff. Armed protesters storm Michigan State House over the COVID-19 lockdown. We'll get into that quite a bit. This is not a political show, but we are going to get into kind of the state of the economy and what people are doing and things of that nature, and some of the things that you're going to need to definitely rely on and deal with as we go through this. Also kind of underreported is the city of Oklahoma rolls back all of their requirements because of the same situation kind of took place. And one of the consequences of keeping businesses open during this time, and again, we'll get into this a little bit in a little bit, meat shortages. So in this article in particular, according to the Wall Street Journal, 1 in 5 Wendy's restaurants does not have any meat because there are meat shortages due to the rolling shutdowns due to the pandemic that's taking place right now. So yeah, there's a lot to get into. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button, engage in the chat. Willie B. Dubbin, I do see you. Let's make it happen. So I had to write this down this week because there's a lot of economic things that are taking place that we kind of need to dissect a little bit. So just give me a little bit as I read this. So we are really in a real catch-22. You see all the articles that I have just shown you, people protesting, storming the state capitol and things of that nature. People are really hurting out there, and people need to make money. There's no getting around it. Because at the end of the day, the bills have not stopped coming when it comes to this pandemic. They're still going on. But what you're also seeing is you're starting to see the true nature of people when their backs are up against the wall. When you're being forced to do something that you don't want to do, you're just really seeing the real human nature of people. Some of the other things that people aren't really realizing is that you have small businesses out here that don't have their paperwork in order. The PPP program or the SBA loan program, for those of you that are going to get into entrepreneurship or are currently owning a business, you would know if you went through funding or attempted to get funding through the SBA, you have to basically give your left pinky and your left toe in order to get these loans. But you also have to have your paperwork in order. You have to have your local your economics in order. And if they're not in order, you're not getting that money. And what winds up happening is that there are a lot of individuals that have been left out. Uh, a lot of the small businesses, because their paperwork is not in order, or and then as an effect, what you're seeing franchises like Potbelly, franchises like Ruth Chris. These big, they're big chains, but they're small enough to where they still qualified for these loans. And the reason why they qualified for the loans is because at the end of the day, their paperwork was in order, and the little guy, so to speak, did not have their paperwork in order. So they're the ones that's being left out. Um, you're seeing a lot of things. So the other thing that I wanted to point out was uh, the essential, quote unquote, essential versus the unessential. So if you this is what the states decided to do, right? The states decided, or federally they decided, I guess you could say, uh, who's essential and who's not essential, so to speak, right? And what that's a catch 22 in itself, because who makes a decision as to what is really essential versus what's really not essential? So you had that problem up front. Um, the other issue that you have is you have the essential workers that are going to work right now. Um, but they don't outweigh the quote unquote unessential people that are sitting at home, um, who are either looking for unemployment, can't get unemployment because the systems that the government uses keeps breaking down, um, that aren't able to work 7 weeks in and don't have any money coming in. And the reality is that the essential worker does not outweigh the amount of unessential workers not working. So the result of that is your local governments are not getting the amount of funding tax wise needed in order to fund things like unemployment and other things. Uh, so the only thing you can do as a state uh, is open back up. I mean, that's really all you can do. Um, it doesn't help. And again, I preface this again by saying this is not a political show. I'm just showing you what it is as it is. Um, it doesn't help that the uh, Senate Majority Leader says that, if states are running out of unemployment income, that they should just go bankrupt. So now states are taking things into their own hands, which they should. Everything is, governed by them. And saying we're just going to open up, and basically, they're pulling a Drago. If he dies, he dies. So, this is, like I said, this is not a political show. This is not a doom and gloom type of show either. I want to preface by saying that as well. I guess what my point is that even though things are bad, even though things are kind of rolling downhill in some areas, there's other areas where things are not rolling downhill. Things are actually booming, and then at the same time, there's a lot of opportunity that's going to be taking place as a result. Some of us have seen this during the recession in 2008. You're going to see some of that again. What do I mean by that? Well, housing prices are going to take a dump. The auto market is going to, I mean, their cars are cheap already, but if you're looking for to have some sort of service business, for instance, for the future entrepreneur or the current entrepreneur, if you were to have to go get a service vehicle, go get a semi truck, or go get a car for your business, you would be able to do so relatively cheap, or with very, very consumer friendly terms. There's a lot of opportunities that are going to take place here. Now, with the states opening up, I also think that that's another it's another catch 22, and here's why. Um I only have a few questions that I'm going to ask, and they're open-ended. Um when the states open back up, what are the chances that you're going to go sit down at a restaurant and eat, you know? Um What are the chances? It's summertime out. Summer is right around the corner. It's getting hot out. What are the chances that you're gonna go sit by a pool and hang out? Um, just let those things sink in. All those things that you used to do. Um, most people are still not gonna do those things. Is really what it boils down to. Um, and what I talked about in the last live stream was uh, this is the new normal. This is the new economy that you have to embrace. Um, the cheese has moved. Excellent book, by the way. Who Moved My Cheese? This is a perfect example of what's taking place. Um, the economics has moved. Why would you want to go into a restaurant and dine in when they can deliver to you without any repercussions? Again, open-ended question. Same thing with your groceries. You guys know how it is when you're going out and getting your groceries. If you go late, you're standing in line to get in. Which, look, that people are practicing social distancing as best they can, but these stores they don't really know how to manage it. But that I digress. But why would you go into the grocery store when you can get those things delivered? Again, open-ended question. So that's the new normal. Some of these restaurants that are out here at the moment, they're not practicing some of the successes of business. I'm just gonna really just throw that out there. At the end of the day, when you're in a business, there's 6 pillars to it, right? It's marketing, it's sales, it's finances, it's strategy or research. Um, and then there's ethics, fulfillment. You can throw a whole litany of stuff in there. But if the thing that some of these big time restaurants aren't doing is they're not marketing properly. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'll just name a couple. So, Olive Garden. Have you seen Olive Garden go across your feed talking about saying they do takeout? Please come get our food. Have you seen any ads run through any of the feeds that any of the things that you look on the internet? I haven't. If you have, you can let me know. What about Red Lobster? Same thing. Have you seen any ads go through there saying that they're open? It's a restaurant. I haven't. Listen, I haven't seen that either. So, because of the bad marketing practices, there's gonna be big businesses that are going to fail. Because of bad strategy, you're going to have other businesses that are going to fail. Prime example is Airbnb. Airbnb is cutting 25% of its workforce. It's shrinking. Um, so yeah, I mean, we've got there's like I said, there's a lot of moving parts to what's going on. There's a lot of moving parts to uh, how things are going to happen in the near term and in the short term. And I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you set up for the future so that you can leverage some of these opportunities. All right. One of those things is mindset. You got to have the right mindset going in. You have to have the right mindset to get your your finances in order, to develop a discipline so you can get your finances in order, so you can get your credit in order. So when the end of the year comes, January comes, even February comes, you're in a position to get that house. You're in a position to acquire that business. Again, something that people really aren't, some people aren't thinking about. I'm not going to say all, but that's another opportunity. If you are in a financial position, you're able to acquire businesses, because you got to understand, some of these businesses that are out here, they're being ran by people that are either on the verge of retirement or retirement age, to where they're able to retire. They're just looking for somebody to buy their business so that they can retire. It's a whole host of things, but my goal is to try to get you in the right mindset, mind frame, and guide you to the right things that you need to do in order to leverage the opportunities that are going to come. So, with that said, again, we're going to do the mindset series starting on Saturday. It's the Saturday Hustle. I'll be teaching my course live, and once I complete that course, it'll probably take either 2 weekends or 3. Once I complete that course, I'll have it on the website, and it'll be available for purchase. But I'm going to teach it live, because I don't think people understand where your head's got to be in terms of what's where the potential is, I guess you could say. So let me get back into the chat room here. Say what's up to everybody. AZ Gardner, glad you came through. Hilly B. Dubbin, what's going on, man? Guys, if you haven't had the opportunity, whoever's watching, please like, subscribe to the channel. Hilly B. Dubbin, what would your advice be to folks that want to shift their mindset but are scared, broke, and dealing, just trying to keep the family fed? All good questions. Now's the time where you have to. I remember being in this spot, right? So, I remember during this time having a real heightened sense of awareness, a willingness to do whatever it took in order to, feed your family. If you're not set up to to start a business, um, or a job per se, you're looking for another job, you have to start getting, I guess the point is, you really have to start getting resourceful with what you are going to do, right? So, and what do I mean by resourceful? First off, go to your local unemployment office, right? They can tell you right away what jobs are hiring. As simple as that sounds, some people go straight to Indeed.com, or they go to ZipRecruiter, whatever the case may be. You put your name out there, you start applying to jobs right away. The second thing that you do is, especially if you're looking for a job, is if those jobs don't get back to you, because again, they're online jobs, you don't know if they're going to get back to you or not. If they don't get back to you, you find a number to that job and you make a phone call and see if they're hiring. You have to be resourceful, and you have to be more proactive in making sure that you get what you need. In the meantime, you have to see what you can do financially, in terms of what do you know. One of the easiest ways for you to make some money is resale. You got things around your house that you're probably not using or haven't used. Resell is one of those things. It's junk to you, but one man's junk or one man's trash is another man's treasure. So flip your stuff. You also need to start getting extremely lean on the things that you need versus the wants, so to speak. And at the same time, you also have to be willing to accept any job, right? One of the things that we have an issue with as people is that we have our egos way too high, especially in situations like this. What do I mean by that? Um, Prime example, say you're working at a job, you've been working at that job and um, you have a high paying salary, and I don't mean that high, like maybe, I don't know, 60K or something like that. Um, and then you lose your job. Obviously, it's not, under circumstances that you didn't anticipate, but you have to take a job that cuts 20% of your pay. Say you got to take a $40,000 job. Some money is better than no money, you know. Uh, that's kind of the thing that people don't really realize, because you're not gonna be there forever. Um, but you need to do what you need to do in order to make the money that you need to make to feed your family. Um, the other thing that you could do too is, you may not have the money to start a business, but there's things that you know how to do. There's services that you know how to do. What do I mean by that? Um, I know around here, for instance, landscaping hasn't stopped. I live in the state of Arizona. Landscaping hasn't stopped. Um, if you are a cook, there's a lot of people that still don't want to cook their food. You can market on free places like Craigslist and the like, and market your services of being able to deliver food to people. I know somebody that grows stuff. I grow stuff myself, and he resells some of the things that he grows. That's another thing. It just, in this space, in this time frame, you have to be as resourceful as you can. The other thing that if you are able to get unemployment, there's nothing wrong with getting unemployment. You're not going to be on it forever. But you also have to make sure that you don't get into the mindset of having somebody else kind of take care of what, you know, um, to take care of you, so to speak. My job is to make sure that you get the mindset of being self-reliant. Um, but don't be afraid or too prideful at this time to accept the resources that you're kind of given, especially if it means you're going to be working a job that may not pay as much. Um, this is just your opportunity where, okay, you may not be making as much, but this is also your opportunity to improve your skills at home, and get into a position where you can level up later. Um, and that's where a lot of people are. I know that's where I was. One of the things that had happened to me, just as an example, is when I got let go from my job. Um, I thought I was just kind of defined as that job. And let's be completely honest. I felt like my back was against the wall. But I'm the only breadwinner in my family, right? So I got really resourceful, and I did a lot of the things that I had mentioned here. And basically, because of my resourcefulness and because of things that I had kind of learned, I was able to take a job. I took a job. It was less pay. Um, and I worked it. That's all I did. I worked it out. And basically, because I worked it out, I was able to uh, meet some real heavy hitters here in the state. They liked my skills, my work ethic, and things of that nature. Outside of this channel, I mentor a lot of people around the country, and one of those people said, hey, Kelvin, you've helped me out, this and that. I recommended you for this certain job or whatever the case may be. So I walked in there with my credentials. Next thing you know, I had the job with the money that I had asked for, and it was more than what I was making at my previous job. So I had gone down about $20,000-$30,000, and then I gained about 45-50 grand. So, but you learned a lot. I learned a lot of lessons along the way. I improved myself. There was other things that I had done as well, like I taught myself to code, and seen how important that tool was. So again, this is an opportunity for you to really really reinvent yourself. Like I said, for instance, this right here, outside of here, I mentor people all over the country. I mentor a couple of people in different places, one in Australia, one in Italy. And this is an opportunity for you to kind of embrace the new economy, learn new skills, learn marketable skills, learn recession proof skills. And just go for that grind, man. And again, you're going to get to the other side, but you have to have, again, I can say all of this until the cows come home. You have to have the right mindset. And that's why I'm going to be starting with mindset on Saturday, because if you don't have the right mindset going in, if you don't have the right mentality going in, you're not going to get it done. But if somebody like me can do it, I know you can do it. So yeah. What else we got? William, thanks for joining. Sometimes you have to take a helping hand and not let the shame stop. Yeah, man, you got to let go of your ego. A lot of us are very egotistical, man. A lot of us have a lot of pride and think that we can't, get some help. There's help out there. There's help. You have to kind of take the bump sometimes. Sometimes it's just life teaching us something, you know? But you can't be afraid of the help. You can't be afraid to be kind of vulnerable. There's nothing wrong with that. I know men especially, we can be very egotistical, prideful, and want to do things ourselves, but even then sometimes you just need help. And sometimes you just don't know why things are the way they are, as far as why your mentality is a certain way, or why you act the way you act, or whatever the case may be. And these are some of the things that we're going to be talking about on Saturday in terms of the mindset, because a lot of this stuff, to be completely honest with you, is a learned behavior. It's a programmed behavior. You just have to find you just need to use the tools, so to speak, in order to kind of reprogram and relearn some new behaviors. Does anybody have any other questions? While we're going through it, I'm going to do another promo. Like I said, on Saturday, we're going to be starting the Hustle Decoded Mindset series. It's an online series where I'm going to teach the course live. And after I get the course completed, once I complete the course and teaching you guys live, it'll be available on the website. Also, if you are just joining us, please join the Facebook page. Look up Hustle Decoded. Hit the like button. I'll put a lot of promotions and things of that nature on there, so you can stay up to date on what we got going on. And then also, if this is your first time here to the live stream, we're going to be doing live streams every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And then I'll be doing a Saturday Hustle live stream on Saturday, teaching courses or going over questions that you may have. Anybody else in the chat, man, let me know. You guys got any questions, let me know, man. I'm happy to answer them. This is where showcase the showcase the talent, you know what I'm saying? If you got questions, let me know. Let me know in the chat. Don't be afraid. No question. There's no bad questions out here. No bad questions. Did want to bring up something. Now, let's be honest. I know that this is not a political show. Again, this is just political season. But I did want to mention kind of the political environment that we're in. I kind of anticipate, well, a couple things before I get to that. There's individuals out there that were looking for the stimulus package and haven't gotten it yet. Right? Again, there was these government programs out here that people were looking for that they hadn't received, that they didn't have their paperwork in order to get it, or whatever the case may be. You're seeing a lot of you're seeing unemployment run out because the unemployment is continuing to skyrocket, right? I say a lot of that basically to say this, that the government is this is the this is the government system, just so you are aware. So for anybody that wanted government help or government funded stuff, this is kind of what it is. It just kind of lets you know that it doesn't work very much. It's too big, it's too bloated. But I'll let you guys make the decision on that. The other thing that I want to mention is I do anticipate us having 30% unemployment. There's a lot of companies that are on the brink. There's a lot of companies that are not doing as well. They're kind of hanging by a thread. And I think there's going to be a bunch of unintended consequences as a result of opening back up. And I think that more companies are going to shut down as a result, and the unemployment rate is going to go higher. So really quickly, I'll talk about the stimulus really quickly. Congress is not in session right now. As far as I understand, the president does not want to do another stimulus. He said it aloud. The Republican side pretty much sides with the president. They haven't gone against the president at all. So I don't think there's another stimulus coming. However, there's unintended consequences to all of the things that's going to be happening in the coming months. I mean, there might be. This is a situation where I really don't know. And but here's the thing, and AZ Gardner, you make a very good point. The unemployment rate was not designed to deal with anything of this magnitude. It wasn't, and it's no government anticipates this many people being unemployed at once, right? I mean, there's economic things that take place, but this is unprecedented. So you're good. This is why the ultimate entrepreneurs, the real hustlers are going to be the ones coming out of this, right? The ones that are able to be resourceful, the ones that are able to really find a way and get themselves in a position where they can leverage themselves when we get into the later months. So again, one of the things that I'm going to be focusing obviously is on the mindset, but we're going to go a little bit further, right? Because like I said, I want your head in the game, obviously, but I also want your finances in order. So we will be focusing on, we'll be talking about credit. We'll be talking about the importance of credit, because it's not just a score. We'll talk about We'll talk about improving your personal credit as well as getting your business credit. Um, because for people that have their credit right now, their credit's about to get destroyed, right? Um, and it's gonna be destroyed because people use credit as an extension of their income, and that's not what it is. It's a tool. And if we understood uh, how powerful credit was, and how you use credit, we would have a different mindset. We would have a different way of thinking of how we use it. So that's something that we're also going to get into. I'm trying to think of what else we're going to be getting into. We're going to get into money management. We're going to get into money management. We're going to get into um, speaking the banking language. And speaking of that, speaking the banking language, the forbearance. So a lot of people do not know how to speak the language that the banks are looking for. So keep this in mind. This is just a quick business tip. Banks are going to give you exactly what you ask for. Okay? I'm going to repeat that. The banks are going to give you exactly what you ask for. Okay? What do I mean by that? For instance, people have gone through the forbearance, right? People have asked for forbearance. And, you don't know what you don't know. Again, average Americans don't know this stuff. They're just like, yeah, forbearance. I can't pay my bill right now, this, that, and the other. Totally fine. But now we're getting, now we're getting into the months where the banks are like, hey, you need to give us our money. You need to give us our money or we're going to take your house. If people understood the language of the bank, who you needed to talk to, so to speak, and ask for not a forbearance, but a deferment where they take your payments and put it on the back end, then they would have a better opportunity to keep their homes. But there's a lot of people that, again, you don't know what you don't know. You're in a desperate situation. And as a result, because these banks really aren't here to help you. I mean, let's be completely honest here. A lot of people are going to be unfortunately losing their homes as a result. But that's another thing that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about how to speak the bank language, and then we're also going to be talking about how to properly set up your business. Because again, there's a lot of businesses out here that went for these SBA loans and their paperwork wasn't in order and they weren't able to get it. And I'll take it a step further. It wasn't made for the little guy. It was made for a Wendy's. It was made for a Potbelly. It was made for a Ruth Chris. It was never made for the little guy. That is my interpretation. So if you don't have your ducks in a row from a business perspective, they weren't going to give you the money anyway. So these are all lessons that we need to kind of observe, because I know that people that have gone through the 2008 collapse have taken lessons, like myself, have taken lessons from that. I'm going to also be taking lessons from this. There's a lot of things that we can learn from this. And yeah, these are all the things that we're just going to be touching on, and all of it is a goal to get you in position, especially within the next 6-7 months, to get you in position to be able to get, to acquire a business if that's what you want to do, to be able to get yourself a new house for little or no money if that's what you want to do, to be able to walk into a bank and speak the language of the bank to get the things that you actually want to get. Things of that nature. We're just going to be working on all of those things. That's what this channel is designed for. And then if we get enough motivation, get enough engagement, what we'll do is we'll turn it into a podcast as well, because again, not everybody has an opportunity to listen in full and watch in full in real time, right? So these are all things that are going to be planned down the road. But we're just getting started. Um, does anybody else have any questions? Gonna be here for about 20 more minutes. Don't want to take too much of your time, but these are just some of the things that are that I've been kind of thinking about over the last week or so. Um, do want to show you guys something really quick. So I'm almost. Let me do this really quickly. Give me a second. So I'm almost done with the website. Okay, I've built this. I've got the courses there. There's the mindset course, the credit decoded course, some of the upcoming masterminds and things that we're going to be having down the road. And it's shaping up pretty. It's shaping up pretty good. So, see, so it's coming soon. Coming soon. So there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of things that I've been working on and trying to get it going. Talking to my business partner and stuff, trying to get things going. Touching bases with him more and just grinding, man, because it's, that's the other thing that people don't really realize about entrepreneurship. It's kind of been watered down a little bit. I didn't even want to call myself an entrepreneur, to be honest with you, but you know you, at the end of the day, no matter what business it is that you start, whatever course that you take or whatever consultation that you get, at the end of the day, you still have to do the work. The work is not going to be done for you. You have to grind. You have to be consistent. You have to be persistent in order to get the things that you want to get. And when it comes to being self-reliant, you have to do that, especially uh, if you want to be an entrepreneur. You have to be resourceful. You have to be shameless in a lot of ways. There's so many things that you have to have in order to, when you want to pursue this. It's not when the things are good. It's when, things are bad. Like right now, if I can give anybody any motivation, is basically that, during times like these, you need to double down. Um, this isn't a time to sulk. This isn't a time to be all in your feelings. This is a sign. This is a time where you need to start kind of being strategic, kind of looking around and having a greater sense of awareness of what's taking place, and see where you can start making solutions, whether it's in your life or in somebody else's life. That's what you need to be working on right now. But yeah, again, during this time, you want to double down. You don't want to back up. If you've been home for 7 weeks or whatever the case may be, you don't want to hopefully you haven't been Netflix and chilling for the last 7 weeks. There's been plenty of opportunity for you to start something, to do something. This is the first time in anybody's life. You got to understand, if you're working for a job, they expect you to work there for 40 years, right? This is the first time in your life that you're able to actually sit back and kind of say, hey, what the hell do I want to do? Yes, I need to feed my family. I understand that. Yes, I need to pay my bills. Yes, I understand that too. But this is the first time where you actually get to kind of sit back and say, what is it that I want to do? Or what is it that I want to get into? Or what do I know that I think that I can pursue during, times like these or whatever the case may be? Yeah, you may have to go get a job still. But this is the opportunity where you want to double down. Everybody is, not everybody. There's certain individuals that are constricting their cash, and then you have other individuals who want to, you got people out there that want to spend money. Americans just don't have a really good relationship with money. Let's be honest. So, there's people out there that are ready to spend that money, and from an entrepreneurial standpoint, you got to be ready to provide a service in order for them to get that money from you, if that, or you get that money, if that makes any sense. So again, my job for this channel is to make sure that I put you in a position to be able to leverage a situation, to double down, to be a better version of yourself. And then hopefully we can reach more people with this message and be able to help more people as a result. That's really the goal. Again, I think I'm going to sign off, but before I do that, again, I want to do one more promo. Again, we're going to be doing these live streams every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, we're going to be doing the Hustle Decoded Mindset series starting on Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you haven't had an opportunity, please go over to Facebook, look for the Hustle Decoded on Facebook. Like the page there. I'm going to be putting out announcements to videos, live stream shows. I'll even be putting a little bit of motivation in there every now and then. And if you want to link up with any entrepreneurs or are a future entrepreneur, join the page, man. It's going to be a great resource for you. With that said, I want to tell everybody thank you for joining the live stream tonight. And we're going to do this next Wednesday. With that said, we're signing off.